Let's dive into Finny and Rosie's training so that way we can stay consistent at home. Whenever they're doing behaviors that we want to keep seeing, whether that's showing us calm behaviors or listening to our commands, we're going to follow through. We're going to read. Let's dive into Finny and Rosie's training so that way we can stay consistent at home. Whenever they're doing behaviors that we want to see, whether that's giving us calm behaviors or listening to our commands, we're going to reinforce and reward that with either praise, patting, or treats. Then when they're doing things that we don't want to see, whether that's jumping up on us or not following our commands, we're going to follow through with our training equipment to decrease those unwanted behaviors. So let's go over Finny and Rosie's training equipment. This is their prong collar. They're going to wear this whenever they are on leashes. They both have one. So whenever we put this on and off, how we put it on and off, we're going to secure one of the links, push through like so to put it back together. We're going to pinch one prong and put it through the other one like this. And then how we use this, say they are in the heel position. Heel just means walk next to me on that nice loose leash. Say they start to pull ahead or they're doing something that we didn't want to see. We're going to say no, marking the incorrect behavior, a pop of the leash, and then remind them the command we're doing. So it'll be no, pop, heel. So it's going to be more of a quick motion of a pop and not a pull and hold. And then, of course, when they get back into the position where we want them, we can give them that verbal praise, petting, and treat to reinforce the behavior that we want to keep seeing. Now, with the remote collar, how we turn these on and off is there's a red dot on the remote and a red dot on the collar. Touch these together. This is going to turn on one collar at a time, so we have to turn on both of them. Touch them together. Both collars are on. Green light flashing means it's on, charged, ready to go. On and off button on the back of the remote. Push and hold till the screen lights up. Then you're going to see level 25 appear on the screen. Whether that 1D is on the screen or we see that 2D depends on who we are communicating with. So it doesn't matter which dog is on the screen, but if you're looking at 2D, that's going to be Rosie's, which is 25. And then if I hit this toggle over here, I can toggle back over to Finny, which is the 1D. You're going to see 25 as well. They both are working at the same level. So how we use this, say they are in the heel position. And right now I have Rosie, so I'm going to focus on the red S button. Finny's is going to be the black S button. They have their initials next to which button is whose. So say Rosie is starting to pull ahead. We're going to say no, marking the incorrect behavior, red S button, heel, no, heel. And then same thing with Finny, black S button, starts to pull ahead, no, button, heel, no, button, heel. Then depending on the level of distraction that we have, we may use one of these, we may use both of these. It depends on the situation that we are in. Then with the remote collar, we're going to put this on first thing in the morning, and then it's going to be the last thing that we take off at night. So we always have a form of communication with Finny and Rosie throughout the day. With the prong collar, we're going to put this on whenever they are on a leash. So in the beginning, they may have the leash on in the house just to introduce the commands, and then we can slowly fade away from having the leash and the prong on in the house and just have it when we take them out on walks or outside. So that is going to be their training equipment. Now let's go over their commands. We've already kind of gone over the heel. Heel is that loose leash walk on the left side. I have been walking with them both on the left side, which you will see in the videos. Rosie lacks a little bit behind Finny, which is not a big deal. If you want to switch them because you notice that it works better for you, no big deal. But I've had Finny on the inside and Rosie on the outside. It's completely up to you. I noticed Finny liked to walk a little bit closer to my legs, and Rosie was a little bit more on the outside, so I just kept them there. But if it works better to do them the other way, you're more than welcome to switch them. So whenever they're working on this, I would suggest doing them alone first to introduce the heel command with you until they have a great understanding of the heel command with you, and then we can switch to doing it together. But at first, I want them to understand what the heel command is with you, and then they can do it together with you. Then we have sit. Sit means stay is implied until they're given that release word free. This is really good for those door manners, so we don't have both of them running through the door. Rather, whether it's inside or outside, we're going to have them sit so they can't just get up and go out the door. They have to sit until we give them that release word. So we'll have them sit. As we're opening the door, we can remind them sit because opening the door is a big distraction. And then we have two options. We can either heel through the door with them or give them that release word free and have them go through the door on their own. If they sit and stay, great. If not, we're going to follow through with the training equipment until they get it right, so we can set those same boundaries at home that we have here at the facility. Now we have down. Down also means stay as implied until they're given that release word free. With down, we're not going to release from a distance so we don't accidentally reward them for coming to us and not staying in that down stay. So whenever we have them in a down and we do a little bit of a distraction, we're going to go back to wherever they are and release them from where they are so that they know that they're getting rewarded for staying in the down stay and not coming to us. And then when we reward this, we're going to reward it as low to the ground as possible so they know the positive zone is going to be low to the ground. Now we have place. Place is a boundary stay, ideally on an elevated bed. This one's going to be really good for whenever we have guests coming over, so that way they can go to their boundary stay rather than going to the door and rushing our guests or jumping up on them and giving us unwanted behavior. So when we first practice this, I would suggest having a leash on in the house so we can guide them back to the place bed if they get up. So that whenever we're doing our little distraction, we're going to go back to them and release them from where they're at so we don't accidentally reward them for coming to us and not staying on the boundary stay. Then we're going to reward on the place bed so they know the positive zone is that boundary that they are on. So we do our little distraction, we can reward them, and then we can free them off once they're a little bit calmer when our guests come over. Now we have come when called. So whenever we're practicing this, I haven't practiced it too much together because I noticed that they were getting a little bit too distracted with each other. So I want to make sure they understand and have a firm understanding of what come when called is before we introduce it together, just like with the heel. So whenever we're doing this, we'll give them that release word free, let them go get distracted, and then we'll call them to us. So we'll say come as they're coming to us. We're going to praise them as they're coming to us to reward them for coming into our space. We can even back up to invite them into our space, have them sit, and then give them the reward. And then you'll notice that in the videos, one of them, they ignored me on the second time that I called them. So what we do is we're going to say no, marking the incorrect behavior, follow through with the training equipment, and then call them again. And we're going to continue that praise. And when they get into our space, we're going to have them sit and we're still going to give them the reward because we're going to reward this every single time. So they start building up positive of coming into our space and we start building up a reward history. So that is come when called. Now we have leave it. Leave it just means don't grab that. Whenever you first practice this, I would start out with dog safe foods, drop it on the floor, say leave it. If they do, great. If not, we're going to follow through the training equipment and then have a leash on them so we can guide them into the different scenarios if we need to. And then if they leave it, great. You can have them pick it up off the floor if you want. If not, we can just never make it a thing where they pick things up off the floor and then we'll just pick it up and then we can reward them. But that is all of their commands and all of their training equipment. So we're going to reinforce and reward behaviors that we want to keep seeing, whether that's listening to the commands or giving us calm behaviors. And then with those behaviors that we don't want to see, whether it's jumping up or not listening to commands, follow through with the training equipment to decrease those behaviors. That is everything. So we're going to have fun, stay consistent, and now we're going to watch them do their commands.
Good boy, Finny. Good job, Rosie. Heel. Good heel.
Rosie, come.
Good girl. No. Come. That's a good girl. It's okay. Good job. Sit. No sniffing, sniffing,
Rosie, come.
Oh, that's a good girl. Good job. Sit. Oh, good girl. Good job. Free? Finny, you're free. You can get up. Free. That's a good boy. Free. Free.
Finny, come.
That's a good boy. Good job. Oh, good boy. Free.
Finny, come.
That's a good boy. No.
Come.
Good job. Sit.
Free. Finny, come.
Good boy. Good job. Hey.
Finny,
All the way. All the way. Good job. Sit. Good boy. Down. Good job. Good. Down. Down. Good. Down. Down. Good. Down. Good. Good. Down. Good. Good. Down. Good. Free. Good job, guys. Say one for Finny. Good boy. Good job. Hey. Rosie. Leave it. No. Leave it. That's good. Good job. Good boy. Free. Rosie. Finny. Over here. Finny. Good. Okay. Good job. Finny. Leave it. Now that's good job. Good. All right, Free. You gotta get him. Finny, over here. Finny, you're too slow for her. Finny. Good job. Finny, Rosie. Yeah. Good job. Place. Good boy, Finny. Rosie, place. Good. Place. Good girl. Good boy, Finny. Place. Place. Good. Place, Rosie. Place. Good. Place. Good. Place. Good. Place. Place. Good. Oh, you roll one. Place. Good job. Good
Let's go over the other features of the remote. Now that we know how to turn it on, let's go over how to turn it off. Same concept, red dot on the remote, red dot on the collar. We're going to touch these together. That red light means that the collar is off. And then we're going to do the same thing with Finny's. So that way we know that both of the collars are off. And then for the remote on and off button on the back, push and hold until the screen goes blank. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn them back on, and we're going to go over the other buttons on the remote. So when we're working with Finny, the black S button on the side of the remote is going to be Finny's, and then that red S button is going to control Rosie's collar. So when that 1D at the top of the screen is up there, that's going to be Finny's. Whenever we click her button, it's going to transfer over to that 2D at the bottom of the screen. That is going to be Rosie's level. And then if we ever want to toggle back and forth to see whoever's level we want to see, we can hit the vibrate button on the other side. This is going to toggle us to this screen, and then we can toggle it over to the other dog. So if you click it twice, it goes over to the other dog. And then if we want to use the vibrate feature, we're just going to tap it to where it's on that toggle screen. Whoever's color we press, that's going to be whose collar vibrates. So if we want to vibrate Finny, it's going to vibrate his if we hit that black S button. For Rosie's red S button, it vibrates her collar. So that is going to be the toggle T on this side of the remote. That's going to be the vibrate feature. Then we also have a boost feature for if the dogs are doing something dangerous that are going to cause them harm. We have a way to communicate with them when their adrenaline is up, because level 25 for both of them reaches here. Whenever they're doing something dangerous like chasing a car or going after a squirrel, they're up here. So we want to be able to match their level in an instance, so that way we can still communicate with them even though they're doing something dangerous. So whenever we want to communicate with Finny and boost his level, we're going to press his button, and then we're going to tap Rosie's. You're going to see that that's going to jump his level to 45. So whatever level is on the screen, it's going to jump it 20 levels. So this is if he's doing something dangerous. How we do Rosie, we're going to push and hold her red S button, and then we're going to press the black S button. So it is going to stimulate her at that level 25, and then it's going to jump it to 45. And this is for emergency cases if they're doing something dangerous that is going to cause them harm. Then if you notice level 25 isn't working for Rosie or Finny, we can push down on this dial. We'll just make sure that that 1D or 2D is on the screen for the right one that we want to change. Hold down on the dial until that 1D or 2D starts flashing, and then we can rotate this number to whatever number we want. Level 25 is working for Rosie, so I'm going to lock that in by pushing the dial back down. Once that 2D stops flashing, we know that we are locked in at 25, so when we put it in our pocket, we can't accidentally change it. Then if you wanted to change Finny's, we're going to toggle over to him, press it twice, that 1D is going to be at the top, we'll hold down again, move it around, and then we'll lock it in by holding down on the dial. On the back of the remote, we have the on and off button. So this works as a flashlight feature. So whatever dog is on the screen, whether it's Finny 1D or if Rosie 2D, if we press the on and off button rather than holding it, it's going to have a flashlight feature. So if you press it once, it's going to flash. If you press it twice, it's a solid light. Press it that third time, it turns it off. So whatever 1D or 2D is on the screen, that is going to be whoever's collar's flashlight it turns on. Then we have an M/C button. At the beginning of their training, we introduce the collar in a very positive way on continuous at a very low level to introduce it in a positive way. And then we switched over to momentary at a little bit of a higher level when they got further into their training. So that should stay on momentary, which you'll see right here. It has that M that just stands for momentary. So that is all of the buttons and features of the remote itself. So in the box, we have it has a triple charger in here, so you can charge the remote and both collars at the same time. Charging port for the remote is on the back right underneath the on and off button. For the collars, it is going to be underneath their prongs right here. And that do stay charged for about 2 days if they wear them for 12 to 14-hour days. So if you charge it every other day, you should be fine. They both have short hair, but it does come with longer prongs. They're not going to need it because they have shorter hair, but if you wanted to put longer prongs on there, they have that option. It also comes with other bands to put on them. So that way, if you notice that these bungees aren't really working, you can manually put them on like a regular collar every single time. These bungees are just quick snaps, so they're super easy to put on. but they come with red and black, one for Rosie's, and then Finny's is black. Then at the bottom of the box, there is a manual. So if you have any other questions about the remote and any of the other features that it has, you can go through this and figure it out. Like the vibrate feature is also a tone feature if that is something that you would want. It goes through it in there. It's super easy if you want to change it over. So that is everything else in the box. Both the remote and the collars are waterproof. So if they get wet, not a big deal. Let's just make sure we rotate it on their necks if they're going to stay wet for an extended period of time. So that way it doesn't cause irritation to just one part of their neck and it gets irritated and causes an issue. But that is all of the other features of the remote. So we're going to have fun, stay consistent. That's everything.